The world is changing. It's on the cusp of something we can't reverse. But there's still hope. There's still time. Still time to save our planet. The Earth is what we all have in common. We have to work harder, innovate, and develop more than ever before to revive the world in which we live in. Here at Toyota, sustainability is at the heart of our decision making. We can and will save our planet, and here's how we're doing it. The mobility sector has a tremendous responsibility to improve our carbon footprint. We are one of the largest emitters of CO2 in the world. We have a responsibility then to make changes that will allow us to move in the right direction. Mobility has a lot of challenges as we move forward to try to create a better space. Renewable energy is a critical instrument by which we can reduce our carbon footprint.
We are taking existing vehicle platform and we're removing all of those components related to those systems. The concern point from those is obviously pollution, carbon dioxide, and diesel particulates. And by replacing the diesel powertrain with electrified components, we're able to convert these vehicles into zero-emission vehicles.
First and foremost, we need to educate the customer on the existence of this technology. Toyota Mirai is an all-electric vehicle, but instead of plugging it in and recharging it, you refill it with hydrogen, which takes about 3 to 5 minutes and goes from 300 to even over 400 miles with that quick refilling time. We have moved to a rear-wheel drive premium platform. So now the electric motor's in the rear, which means we get that great drivability of a rear-wheel drive vehicle combined with fantastic torque of an electric motor. We've announced an increase in our production capability by 10-fold, which means we'll be making a lot more fuel cell stacks every year. And what that does is it opens up these doors of opportunity to all these other different platforms where we can replace diesel or gasoline engines with fuel cell electric technology. An example of that is our Project Portal heavy-duty vehicle that's operating around the ports today.
The Portal project has evolved. Quite honestly, it started as a bit of a skunkworks exercise where we bought a truck without an engine from PACCAR without their knowing who had purchased it. We disassembled 2 Mirai passenger cars, took the components from that, attached them to a bullet train motor and a relatively low output battery, and created a bit of a Franken-truck, a one-off that just demonstrated that we could actually take modular components from passenger cars and push a 80,000-pound GVWR truck.
Behind a wheel, the difference between a traditional truck and a fuel cell truck is that this one does not pollute. So the pollution burden isn't necessarily distributed to the communities in which you're driving. My experience with the Portal truck has been positive. I think this truck is very powerful, it's quiet, and it's fun to drive. These trucks are part of the solution. They're in addition to a variety of technologies that will help create a cleaner and greener environment for everybody.
Hybrid vehicles, plug-in hybrid vehicles, battery electric vehicles, and fuel cell electric vehicles. We want to give all these options to the customer and let them choose what vehicle is best for their lifestyle.
Early 2020, when we had the outbreak of a global pandemic, basically all of the operations in the ports shut down, and those trucks that were driving all day long every day, that volume greatly decreased, and there was definitely an evident change and improvement in the air quality in the area while that happened. So that's kind of our way to glimpse into the future and see when we do move towards an electrified society, what that society looks like and what those changes can be.
Energy Observer is the first autonomous vessel using hydrogen as a storage. The ship has a full hydrogen chain on board from a seawater electrolyzing system up to the fuel cell. And the purpose of this boat is to test, to validate, to develop all the new energies, new technologies in the renewable energies, and to showcase this floating laboratory to the decision makers, politicians, people all around the world. We know that if we want to convince the communities, fishermen, boat owners, it has to be simple, reliable, and affordable. And the only way to achieve this was to work with the best fuel cell available on the market today, which is the Toyota fuel cell, because they have thousands of cars using this fuel cell, so they have a lot of data. It's simple, it's industrially produced, so it's much cheaper than the half custom made by the competitors. And above all, we believe that Toyota has a real ambition for this hydrogen society. So it was the perfect partner because it was the technology, communication, values. The boat is fully autonomous today because we believe it is a smart grid that must be duplicated in some islands, isolated places, big ships, ports, and in the near future to neighborhoods, villages, and even cities.
So the project you see behind me, the solar field, is a project that was put in place here to offset some energy usage at the Huntsville engine plant. This particular field will offset at peak energy 16% of the energy use at this facility. It's just a start of moving in a direction towards a better renewable space.
Over 50% of the models in our lineup today have a hybrid alternative. So by adding just a few more to the fleet, we'll basically be at our 2025 target, and we're still on plan for that goal. I think we've got a long track record of being the first to market and running against the trend. So whether you go back to the 1970s, and obviously the introduction of Prius was a big bet on our part and helped move the needle, I think, for the rest of the industry. And now our next foray is really into fuel cells.
It's not something that just Toyota should do. It's something that society needs to embrace. And we need to work with governments. We need to work with independent suppliers. We need to work with anybody that we can to begin widespread implementation of renewable energy.
We understand we're learning a lot as we go, but Toyota continues to place these aggressive bets to try to pull the industry along with us, and the payoff is going to be great, not only in terms of the success of our business, but just its overall impact on society.